What's going on, everybody? Today we're talking about pool maintenance. I'm going to show you how to backwash your sand filter. So let's just go ahead and get right into it. First thing you want to do is turn your pump off. You do not want it running. Now this is only for a sand filter. If you have a DE filter or if you have a cartridge filter, you're going to want to find another video. So your sand filter is probably going to be similar to mine, and that you have this little handle up at the top here with basically different options. Right now I have it on filter. Filter is the main location that you want this handle when you're filtering the water out of your pool. You'll also notice that there are few other things here. You might have one that says bypass to waste. This is essentially just going to take the water from the pool and it's going to shoot it right out of your waste output here. Then there's a winterized, there's a closed. But this one here is the one that we're going to look at today. This is the backwash. The ones we're going to be using today are backwash and rinse. So with your pump setup, when it's on filter, it's filtering the water through the sand. For backwash, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be backwashing a lot of that dirty water out through this output right here. Now, you probably have something similar to this. This actually is a little spout that unscrews. If you have room, you don't need anything else. You can just let the water shoot out that way. If you're limited with space, like I am, I only have about 8 feet to where my neighbor's fence is, then you can get one of these things. This is a backwash hose. You can get them at any pool store, and you can actually get them on Amazon, depending on the length of them. I think this might be 30 feet. They're as cheap as $20. So this helps just sort of send the water out that way where I have more room. So I'm going to throw this on mine, and then we'll keep going and showing you how to get your pool backwashed. I have my backwash hose connected with the pool pump off. I'm going to take this handle, I'm going to swing it around to backwash. Okay, now I am going to hold on to this, because when that water comes shooting out of there, it usually just pops it right off. And then I'm going to turn the pump on. All right, so I'm in backwash. You can see I got water backwashing out that way. Now what you'll notice is, if you look in this little clear plastic thing here, the water coming out of there is fairly dirty. It's a little foggy. Sometimes it'll look green. So I'm just going to basically let this run for anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute to gauge until that water starts to look like it's clear. Now this is taking water directly out of your pool, right? So you want to make sure that you have an adequate pool level of water before you do this. Okay, so you just keep an eye on that, and you can tell, I mean, it's pumping a significant amount of water out back there. And you can start to see the water starting to clear up a little bit. So I'm going to turn the pump back off. And now what I'm going to do briefly is I'm going to turn this handle to rinse. Okay, and then I'm just going to let the rinse out that filter for a couple, I don't know, 10, 15, maybe 20 seconds. So I got to turn the pump back on. All right, so now I'm just going to let that rest of that water rinse out of there. You can see it is flowing pretty clear out of there. If I take my hand off this, the force of it will just shoot it out. You can get a clamp and clamp that on there if you want to, but I just always hold on to it. And I'm going to shut this off. That's it. And then the last step is, see, even on backwash or rinse, you're going to have water coming out of here even if the pump isn't on. I'm going to switch it back to filter, and I should be good to go. Let's fire it up. Yeah, there we go. We're good. So I just briefly want to talk about when you want to backwash your filter. So obviously when you're starting out the season with your pool, it's probably a good idea if you're just hooking it up for the first time after it's been stored for the winter. If you have a newer filter, you will have a pressure gauge like this on it. Now, if your filter's old like mine, your pressure gauge is busted. But you will see here on this pressure gauge, it says basically where it needs to be serviced. Now by service, it just means backwash it. But if you either don't have a gauge or your gauge is broken like mine is, you can usually just tell by the force of the water that's coming out of your output here into the pool. If you notice that the force of it is gradually decreasing or decreased quite a bit, it's probably time to go ahead and backwash. Now, if you're vacuuming and you've just vacuumed your pool through the filter, if you have one of those vacuums where the hose goes right down into your filter, after you vacuum the pool, you're going to want to go ahead and backwash your pump then too. Or, I'm sorry, backwash your filter. But generally, a good rule of thumb is just keep your eye on the force with which your water is coming back out into the circulation part of your pool. And if it feels like it's bogged down a little bit, go ahead and backwash it. Now, we have just gotten quite a bit of rain, so you can see my pool water level is about as high as it should be. It's almost up to over top of where that little skimmer basket is. So I thought that was a good time to go ahead and backwash it. So depending on how dirty your filter is, you are going to lose a decent amount of water. Not a decent amount, but you are going to lose some water out of your pool level when you're backwashing your pool. So if you've just gotten a bunch of rain, great time to go ahead and backwash your pool. All in all, when you backwash it, it's going to keep your filter clean. It's going to keep your pool circulating. It's going to keep, you'll notice a big difference with the rate at which your pool water is circulating. And it's really just going to help keep your water clean and clear as you go throughout the summer. So you can check out my pool maintenance playlist up there. Hope it helps. Feel free to comment below if you have any questions. You can subscribe if you're not a subscriber. Thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.